potentially watching that flash flood threat increasing, and it's not going to take much. I mean, we all know what happened last night when we had all of that rainfall. I mean, 6 to 7 inches of rain just in a very short amount of time. That's really a concern, and it doesn't really take that much. Even though we've stayed mostly dry over the course of the day, we had a round coming in early this morning. We really haven't had all that much time. Normally we need a few days to kind of dry things out and let things kind of recede. We haven't had that. We've only had a few hours, so it really is not going to take all that much to see some flash flooding in the city of Rockford. So that's a special case. So in the city of Rockford, you know, I'm just going to say, really don't want to drive unless you don't have to. Just try to stay home. Just enjoy the thunderstorms at least if you enjoy these kinds of things. So zooming in on Winnebago County, you can see really the strongest cell is pretty much just moving into Winnebago right now. This is a non-severe thunderstorm. But at this point, there's lightning producing with the Winnebago storm, as well as this one that's between Durand and Rockton and South Beloit. So that's the situation for Winnebago County, at least as of this point. So there is a little cell there on the southeast side of Rockford, and then another one that's just south of Belvedere. So this is just kind of the opening little bit of thunderstorms. But as we look off to the west, let's just zoom out here and let's just take it all the way to the west. There's all of this activity that's got to make its way into the Rockford area. So it's going to be moving about like that. So maybe this area of thunderstorms near Monroe that we got to be watching out for as that moves off to the south or to the east southeast. There is a little bit of a southern component of motion, but it's mostly east this time. So, but again, we got to watch out for the flash flood threat in the city of Rockford here over the course of the evening. And I am being told that that we did get live on Facebook. Let me triple check that we got that going. We were having issues with that earlier. Yes, we did. Beautiful. All right, so we are now live on Facebook and on YouTube. So some good news there. So now we have more ways for you to join in and to get our coverage in case you do lose power. We'll still be here on WREX.com, the 13 news and weather apps, but now we've got our Facebook and YouTube streams back up and loaded. So there we go. And if you're on our Facebook page, you can send in some questions. If you have a concern of your own, I'll try to keep an eye on this chat session, and as well as our ones with the National Weather Service too. So so some good news there. So Jennifer asking for the Pecatonica area. So there's a cell that just kind of passed by. There's another one coming down the pipeline here down US 20, although that may just pass to your south. I think really the Pecatonica area, it's going to be if this activity near Freeport kind of grazes by you, or else I think it's going to be this activity that's near Monroe that has triggered a severe thunderstorm warning in Stevenson County. I do not see a severe thunderstorm warning in Greene County as of right now. So that's just kind of the difference between the offices of do they issue a warning, do they not issue a warning. So, but the bigger story right now, I do want to reiterate once again, is a tornado warning that is in place for Jodavious and Carroll counties. So this is south of Stockton, north of Savannah. So let's zoom in on this area shaded in red. That's that tornado warning. So north of Mount Carroll, well to the north of Savannah, and south of Stockton. Let's put on the radar. And in fact, I'll pull up the velocity tool. And to be honest, I'm not really seeing all that much. Let me pan it over to the east here. Looking fairly messy. If anything, it would be this area near Shannon that's well outside of this tornado warning polygon. Let's see what the National Weather Service is. Okay, the National Weather Service says they are going to be canceling that tornado warning. So they're seeing the same thing that we are. that rotation pretty much is just kind of just weakened and fallen apart. The main story right now is going to be very heavy rain and some pretty strong winds with this. So some good news here. The tornado warning that we had for Jodaviess and Carroll counties is about to pop off the board. I'll leave that up here in just a second and you'll watch it go away. Did we guess it? Maybe? No. Okay. Try my luck anyway. Other storms that we're watching, there it goes. See, it was delayed. There's a 7-second delay. So Greene and Rock counties, watching that cell that was near Monroe. So we're for the potential for some maybe nickel-sized hail and 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So let's take a jog up to the north in southern Wisconsin. So you can see a whole lot of rainfall in Monroe, and I want to make sure, did I pull up the lightning? Okay, there we go. As I was concerned, I was like, really, there isn't any lightning in this? But so we do have some very heavy rainfall moving into Monroe right now, and the potential for 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts and nickel-sized hail. That is just short of severe thunderstorm warning criteria, but the National Weather Service in Milwaukee is watching this. So Greene, southwestern Rock counties, watch out for this cell that from Monroe kind of has a little bit that extends over towards Brodhead. That does have a little more lightning associated with it. But for now, so far, that is a non-severe thunderstorm. So at 8 o'clock here, let's look at the big picture. We just had a few seconds ago, the tornado warning for Jodaviess and Carroll counties has been canceled. So some good news there. It was scheduled to expire at 8:15. That has been canceled as of 8 o'clock. So the tornado threat in Jodaviess and Carroll counties has gone down. And we saw that a little bit there on velocity when we took a look at it. I was just if there was anything, it was very broad and very weak. It just looked pretty messy, and the National Weather Service agrees. So they canceled the tornado warning there. And then I'm also looking for any updates to the other warnings. So pretty much all that we have on the board right now are severe thunderstorm warnings. Just about all of Stevenson County, with the exception of German Valley, under a severe thunderstorm warning. Looks like we have a flash flood warning for the Madison area. So we'll try to stay away from that. Okay, so pretty much both of these warnings in Stevenson County, there's two, but they kind of overlap each other, so they pretty much cover up just about the county between the both of them. So both are until 8:45. This also includes the eastern part of Jodaviess County, including Stockton and northward towards Warren, and then also most of Carroll County, pretty much except for the Milledgeville area, also under a severe thunderstorm warning, and I believe that one is until 8:30. And now the National Weather Service is looking at a storm in southern Okay, there we go. I was worried that we were going to see that. So now we have a brand new flash flood warning for Winnebago County. So that's one of the things that the National Weather Service was saying that they were going to be very proactive on, is the flash flood threat in Winnebago County. So already we're only about an hour into this, and now we have a flash flood warning in place for most of Winnebago County, essentially areas pretty much near and south of 173. So Winnebago and Pecatonica as well. This also does include the city of Rockford, as well as Loves Park and kind of southern parts of McChesney Park, New Milford, and Cherry Valley. You are now under a flash flood warning. This is in effect until 1 a.m. So this is not necessarily for the rain that's already fallen. There already has been a little bit, as we'll pull up here on the radar display, and we'll put it into motion here to show how we've already had a little bit of heavy rain, but we notice what's coming down the pipeline here. The storm that's coming in from Freeport, and then also a storm that's coming in from Monroe and Greene County. So the National Weather Service is being very proactive here, issuing a flash flood warning for essentially the southern half of Winnebago County, including the city of Rockford. So now a brand new flash flood warning. Let me get to the text of the warning here. Rainfall rates up to 2 inches per hour moving into the Rockford area. Flash flooding will begin shortly after the onset of this very heavy rainfall. And we can see pretty much the heaviest of it is pretty much near Winnebago right now. and we can kind of hear it on our rooftops right now. We're just to the north of Winnebago. But as this moves off to the east into the Rockford area, that's when we're going to see potentially some flash flooding start up again. So if you are under this flash flood warning, pretty much the one thing, just turn around and don't drown. Just think about what happened last night and all the cars that were submerged or just lost control on just about every road you can think of in the city of Rockford. You do not want to drive through those flooded roadways. You saw what happened. You definitely do not want to do that. Just turn around. You're not going to regret it, okay? You will regret driving through a flooded roadway and you get stuck. But if you just turn around, you find a different route, then you can get back to where you need to be safely. So this also a flash flood warning doesn't necessarily include or is exclusively for roadway flooding or the type that we saw like on Charles Street or like that. It's also the streams and the creeks that run through, and of which we have plenty in the city of Rockford, that also will be overflowing. And we saw that with Keith Creek last night. And if you saw any kind of waterway across Winnebago County, you notice how they were running much higher than usual today. So that's why we were saying it's not really going to take that much to get those creeks to get back to essentially flooding once again, in addition to the potential for urban flooding on the roadways too. So really want to take this very seriously, just because we have had a history of this in the past. So if you need to, if you're near a stream or a creek and it's starting to rise and it's starting to affect your home, move to higher ground if you can. If you're noticing water getting into your basement, I know I dealt with that myself here heading from last night, that we woke up to water in our basement. We had you really want to watch out for water over the power sockets, the power plugs. If it's above the little power sockets, just don't even get in the water. Just stay away from it as much as you can. Looks like we have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning now. So flash flood warning for southern Winnebago County, including the city of Rockford, until 1 a.m. But we now have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. This is for Greene County, Wisconsin. So this is that cell that we were watching in southwestern Wisconsin, now being warned for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. And of course, this joins many other severe thunderstorm warnings that we have, including across most of Stevenson County until 8:45. And again, most of Carroll County until the northern part of Carroll County, including the Shannon and Lanark areas, until 8:45. And then this cell near Mount Carroll and just to the north of Thompson, this one is in effect until 8:30. Time is now 8:07. So we've got still a few minutes on this, about 20 minutes with this cell, and then about 35 minutes or so with the Stevenson County warnings. And then this brand new severe thunderstorm warning that we just got for Greene County, also until 8:45 for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So if you are under a severe thunderstorm warning, whether you're under one now or you're under one in the future, you want to move inside, stay away from the windows. That's really the biggest thing, because we're talking about tree damage and potential power line damage as well. So be prepared for power outages. Make sure to just plug in your phone. Try to, get the flashlights ready. Do what you need to do for potential power outages. Some of us dealt with that last night. We may be doing it again tonight. Flooding rainfall also. We were just talking about that new flash flood warning for Winnebago County. This also, we do have that flooding threat across the whole area. Our focus, though, has been along the city of Rockford towards Belvedere areas, just because those areas were just hit so hard from last night that it's really an important situation that we emphasize on those areas, just for the urban impacts. A whole lot of people will be affected, and also just the vulnerability there too, just because it doesn't take as much to get flash flooding going. We have another severe thunderstorm warning, so kind of getting into that pattern once again that I was fearing that we were going to start getting into. And this is going to be for Ogle County, and we may have another one here. I'll have to take a look at that in a second. So this is for northwestern Ogle County, including Forreston, onwards towards Leaf River, close to Adeline, and then southward along Route 64 towards Mount Morris. This does not include Byron. This does not include Oregon. This is to the north of Polo. And I think I just got a sneak peek there of that. So we now have another severe thunderstorm warning for the rest of Carroll County, including Milledgeville and far northern Whiteside County, north of Sterling until 9. And that northwestern Ogle County, so Forreston, Leaf River, Adeline, Mount Morris, you are now under a severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45. So like I was just talking about, stay away from the windows, head inside, let these storms pass, and be prepared for power outages and potential flooding in your home with this thunderstorm activity. So looks like the heaviest of the rain now approaching Forreston at this hour, moving off to the east, so towards Leaf River and Mount Morris here soon. It looks like there's another cell that's popped up right on top of Polo. This is not severe, and another one that's popped up just to the south of Dixon, also not severe. So let's click out of that, and let's, oops, did not mean to do that. Okay, so just want to be clear, no tornado warning anymore for Joe Davis and Carroll counties. That has been canceled. That rotation has weakened really considerably. So that was going to be expiring at 8:15. That was taken off the board about 10 minutes ago. So you can, wow. Hey Max, can you take the tower cam if we can? Because I'm hearing the rain on top of our roof, and it is, holy cow. Yeah, that's what you're going to be seeing here under these thunderstorms. Just terrific amounts of rain, very low visibility, and as you can see, just nearly non-stop lightning within this thunderstorm. So just to get your bearings straight here. So this is at our station just to the north of Winnebago, just north of US 20. And this is looking off to the, even though it's difficult to tell, I'm pretty sure we're looking off to the northeast. So this would be almost looking towards Loves Park, if you will. So, and yeah, you can just see tremendous amounts of rain falling there. And there's downtown. So this is also looking off to the north and east. So you see the Jefferson Street Bridge there. And you can see how there is some definitely threatening looking skies out there in the distance. And maybe do you want to pan that off to the right just a little bit there, Max? Oh, you don't have control. Okay, that's all right. Actually, I might. Let's hang on. So here, so let's hold the camera shot there. I just want to look off to the south because that looked like where we had the stronger thunderstorms there were off to the south, but you can tell how there's definitely tremendous amounts of rain falling to the north of the city of Rockford. But as I'll pan it off to the right here in just a second, hang on, I got to get logged in here. Stand by. Okay, so let's get this panned on over. We may have a bug on top of the camera there. So here's looking off to the south. So you've got the Luther Center there on the right side of your screen. That the lights that you see flashing there, that's the Morgan Street Bridge. And there's a area of thunderstorms that has developed along the essentially the south side of Rockford. And that also is bringing a lot of lightning to looks like the southern part of the city of Rockford. And you can see some very dark clouds there towards the top part of the screen there too. And then let me pan on back over to the west. You can see a whole lot of rain falling on the north side of the city of Rockford too. And I'll pan it all the way over to look at the west. We got the pole there, so we don't have the best view to the west, but still. Yeah, very heavy rain that's going to be moving into downtown Rockford there. So now this is looking off to the southwest, or southeast, I should say, once again. So towards the Morgan Street Bridge, there's the iconic Energy Tower. Almost called it the Star Tower. That's and you can see out in the distance, very heavy rain and pretty much nonstop lightning. So that's going to be about what we're going to be seeing throughout the rest of the evening when you're under these very heavy thunderstorms, these fairly strong and even severe thunderstorms in parts of the area. So let's take a look at exact track radar once again. So at almost 8:15 here. So here's the look at the city of Rockford. So we were looking at downtown, looking off to the east. So that's where you saw those darker clouds off into the distance. And then further off to the west, where we saw our tower camera, very heavy rain just to the north of Winnebago. And there's more coming down from there. So in fact, I do want to kind of zoom out here just a little bit. And you can see how starting to get a little bit of a line showing up. This is what we were talking about before, how we were going to see these, they were going to be individual cells at first, and then they were kind of form into a line here. So now here at about 8 o'clock, 8:15, starting to see that happen in the Freeport area, now starting to stretch into parts of Ogle County. So excuse me, I did hear someone asking about Stillman Valley here. So I'm going to try at least to, there we go, get some timing here. Lee asking how far south is the storm going to cover? So there is likely going to be some further extensions of, some more cells that pop up on the south side of this, but there are also some cells forming out ahead of it. It looks like we may have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for Boone County, and this would include Belvidere. So this was that cell that we were talking about earlier that could have nickel-size hail, now could have quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So this is right now across mostly rural part of southern Boone County, but now city of Belvidere, you are now under a severe thunderstorm warning until 9 o'clock. So this is going to be a severe thunderstorm warning for quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So if you're in the city of Belvidere, now is the time to take action. When you have a severe thunderstorm warning, that is your time to take action. You want to get inside, get away from the windows is the biggest thing. We could have tree limb damage, and also the hail could damage your windows as well. If you haven't already, try to bring in the car if you can. If you can't, don't put yourself in any kind of danger. Also, be ready for potential power outages as well, in addition to that flooding rainfall. It's also Belvidere that we're watching out for that potential for flooding rainfall too. So we really want to be making sure that we are keeping the flooding threat in perspective as well as the thunderstorm rolls in. So heaviest of it right now, just starting to cross the I-90 and US 20 corridors right now, moving pretty much right into downtown Belvidere. So this is going to be where we watch for that quarter-size hail potential, as well as for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. So that's going to be with that Belvidere threat. What we're going to do right now, and I'm going to ask my director to let me know when we can do a on-air cut-in, just because we've had many different warnings now issued across much of the area. So if we can do a quick on-air cut-in, I would appreciate it. Okay, yeah, let's just do that. Alrighty, so we'll hop off just real quick. Don't go we're not going anywhere. We're just going to fade to black here just for a little bit as we update our on-air viewers on Channel 13 with the latest warnings that have just been issued. This is Meteorologist John Jurgens breaking into coverage to update you on brand new warnings, both severe thunderstorm and flash flood warnings that have just been issued. First off, want to bring up a flash flood warning that has just been issued for most of Winnebago County, including the city of Rockford. This is a flash flood warning until 1 a.m. We are already seeing pouring rain falling in the city of Rockford, and it's not going to take much to renew the flooding that we saw just from yesterday. So really do not want to drive through flooded roadways. Just remember to turn around and don't drown. Remember what we saw last night. We don't want to be doing that again. So make sure to stay away from any kind of flooded roadways in Winnebago County, including the city of Rockford. We also have more severe thunderstorm warnings that have just been issued, including now in Boone County. The city of Belvedere now under a severe thunderstorm warning. This is a warning that is in effect until, I believe, 9 p.m., I should say. This was just issued moments ago. Yes, 9 p.m. for quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts in the city of Belvedere through 9 p.m. And then we extend farther off to the west. Most of Stevenson County is under a severe thunderstorm warning. All of the areas shaded in orange here, so including Freeport, northward towards Orangeville, along Route 75 towards Davis and Rock City, and then also towards Pearl City as well. Severe thunderstorm warning until 8:45. Also a severe thunderstorm warning into northwestern Ogle County, including Forreston, Leaf River, and Adeline, as well as Mount Morris. These are all severe thunderstorm warnings until 8:45 or so. So when you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, get inside, get away from the windows. Let these storms pass. It's going to be a while too, so it may just be staying inside for the rest of the night. If you want to stay away from the windows, we could have damage to trees and damage to power lines too. Be prepared for power outages and, of course, that flooding rainfall threat over the course of at least the rest of this evening. We have continuing coverage ongoing right now on WREX.com, the 13 news and weather apps, as well as Facebook and YouTube. And of course, we will update you on air as necessary with new warnings that are issued. But for now, I'm meteorologist John Jurgens. Join us for continuing coverage on our digital platforms, and we'll send Channel 13 back to regular programming. And this is meteorologist John Jurgens. Here's a look at downtown Rockford from our new Rockford Public Library camera. And you can see visibility is going down quickly with very heavy rainfall. This is not a severe thunderstorm, but this is just very heavy rain and, as you can tell, prolific amounts of lightning. And if you want to take exact track radar here, Max, we have a brand new flash flood warning that has just been issued. It looks like for the western part of our area. This will include parts of Stevenson County as well as into Carroll and Jodaviess County. So we want to update this brand new flash flood warning now for most of Stevenson County. So essentially, well, I mean, if you include Winnebago County, you've got US 20 from Elizabeth, Illinois, all the way over to the east side of Rockford. That is now under a flash flood warning. So US 20, not going to be the best route to take tonight, as we have very heavy rainfall along US 20. So for Jodaviess County, this includes Stockton, on westward towards Elizabeth, and then across the southern part of the county, and then far northern Carroll County, essentially areas north of US 52. We have Lanark and Savannah, as well as Mount Carroll, now under a flash flood warning. This is going to be in effect until, let me get the ending time. I believe it's probably going to be a time that ends in an AM. I'll tell you that. 2:30 a.m. So this is brand new flash flood warning for parts of Jodaviess, Carroll, and Stevenson counties is in effect until 2:30. The National Weather Service says between 1 and 3 inches of rain have already fallen in these areas, with additional rainfall amounts of 1 to 2 inches possible in this area. So if flash flooding is not ongoing already, it is expected to begin shortly. So if you are under this flash flood warning across Stevenson, Jodaviess, Carroll counties, as well as into Winnebago County too, you do not want to drive through flooded roadways. Like I just mentioned there on our little cut in there, you want to turn around and don't drown. Just turn around. Don't go through those flooded roadways, because especially as we're getting towards nighttime here, you're going to have no idea just how high that water is, and just a little bit of running water and you'll sweep your car away, and then you get into a life-threatening situation. So do not drive through flooded roadways. And then if you are near a creek or a stream that's starting to rise out of its banks and affecting your home, try to find higher ground as well. And also try to prepare your basements too. Get out any valuables. If your basement tends to flood, get that upstairs. Because, I mean, just like myself from last night here, when you head home and you notice that there's a whole lot of water in your basement. So just prepare now, so that when these thunderstorms roll through, at least that we can, save something here. And just try to keep up with the water getting into your basement as well. I know it's always a difficult kind of thing to do there. So flash flood warning until 2:30 for parts of Jodavious, Carroll, and Stevenson counties, as you can see here. The heaviest of the rainfall now passing through Freeport. There's a little bit of a break here right now. And then as we head farther to the west towards Stockton, another cell's been brewing up here. So this is probably what triggered that flash flood warning, because there's a new cell that's developed, and that'll be moving over this similar areas. So kind of being proactive here in terms of these flash flood warnings. You want to try to get ahead of it, make sure people are prepared, before the storms come through, instead of warning them for when there's flooding already ongoing. So, sorry, just monitoring our chat sessions here with the National Weather Service. I mean, we've got warnings just about all over the place here. So, we're going to get a severe thunderstorm warning for Ogle, Winnebago, and northwestern DeKalb counties now. So we'll pull that up here. We've got clusters of strong to severe thunderstorms producing rainfall rates up to 1 to 2 inches per hour and damaging winds to 60 miles per hour. Also looking at quarter-size hail. So you can see a large area under this severe thunderstorm warning. All of Ogle County, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. This is in effect until 9:45. So if you weren't in the warning across northwestern Ogle County, you're under a warning now. So all of Ogle County, the northwestern sliver of DeKalb County, including Fairdale, Kirkland, just grazing by Kingston, just outside of Genoa. The southern half of Boone County, including Belvedere, maybe just off to the north of, or just around Poplar Grove, and then the southern part of Winnebago County, including the city of Rockford, as well as Winnebago. I know we've had a few questions about Poplar Grove. I just want to be as specific as I can about northern Boone County. So it looks like just to the south of 173, so south of Poplar Grove, you're under a severe thunderstorm warning. This is going to be where we see the strongest of these thunderstorms, with quarter-size hail, 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts with these thunderstorms. So if you're in any of the areas I just mentioned, southern half of Winnebago County, essentially south of Loves Park towards Rockford, Winnebago, Pecatonica, New Milford, Cherry Valley, as well as the southern half, or essentially areas south of 173 in Boone County, areas northwest of DeKalb, and then all of Ogle County. You want to move inside, away from the windows, as we could have strong wind gusts capable of damaging tree limbs and power lines. So you want to be prepared for power outages as well. In addition to that flooding rainfall threat, we already have a flash flood warning in place for most of Winnebago County, including the city of Rockford, for that potential. So pretty much you just have a whole lot of rain falling across the US 20 corridor, and then southward towards Forreston, now getting into Polo. So that's the activity that we're looking at right now. Let's pull up the lightning tool, just so we can see just the tremendous amounts of lightning that are going on here. Let's give a report. Okay, so you've got 2 reports coming in from Boone County. We've had pea-size hail reported at Beloit Road and 20 in Belvedere, and estimated 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts at Wheeler Road and 20. So 2 reports there of just sub-severe levels in terms of the hail and the winds, and especially focused on the winds there, near 50 miles per hour, and the Wheeler and 20 area. That's kind of an area just to the west of the city of Belvedere. So let me get a timing here in terms of the speed of this. So this is moving off to the east at about 35 miles per hour. So let's time out this Ogle County section here first. So this is pretty much from Byron south to Oregon, moving off to the east at about 35 miles per hour. So this will be nearing Oregon, pretty much right on top of you right now. Davis Junction here in about 10 minutes or so, maybe a little bit less than that. There are little cells that are popping up out ahead of it, but it looks like the main wind threat is going to be reaching Davis Junction here in nearly 10 minutes. Monroe Center closer towards 8:45, and then crossing into DeKalb County, Fairdale at about 8:50, Kirkland right at the top of the hour at 9 o'clock, and then Rochelle towards 9:03, Kingston at 9:07. So that's the timing for Ogle County, as well as into northwestern DeKalb County. Let me at least try to clear it out. There we go. And then let me zoom on back. Because I hit the wrong one. So let's hit the kind of the big picture reset here. So here's what we've got. We've got a leading wave of thunderstorms here starting to move into western Ogle County, and thunderstorms that have pretty much just lined up right along the US 20 corridor. And then we have other rounds that have formed behind it. This one near Freeport, or off to the south and west of Freeport, and then this area of activity into southern Wisconsin, that will be moving off to the east-southeast here, kind of behind this initial push. Much more isolated activity behind this, so we'll have to keep an eye on this fairly closely. In fact, what we can do, we can put it on a loop here and we can see just how that's been progressing. So let's see, so this activity kind of pushing eastward, so likely going to be reaching the I-39 corridor, definitely before 9 o'clock, probably closer to about 8:45-ish, so probably sometime between 8:45 and 9 o'clock, seeing this push of wind reaching the I-39 corridor into Ogle County, as well as into Winnebago County, but there have been storms that have popped up out ahead of this line, pretty much right along US 20. I believe we are going to see a brand new flash flood warning for Boone County. I believe I just saw that notification pop up in our chat session here, but it hasn't come through our system yet, which is strange. But we have a flash flood warning for southern Boone County, including the city of Belvidere, until 1 a.m. So we've got up to 1 inch of rain already fallen in the Belvidere area, with flash flooding ongoing or expected to begin shortly, just because look at what you've got going on off to your west. Just tremendous amounts of rainfall that'll be coming through. So yet again, looking at another potential significant flooding issue going on across the area, and unfortunately it's just targeting the same areas like it did last night into Rockford and into Belvidere, and also flash flooded warnings into the Freeport area and on westward into Jodaviess County. And then, so pretty much our hope at this point is that this activity stays isolated and can just stay sub-severe. That'll be something. But it definitely, as of right now, does not look as nearly as widespread as it does here across our area, across, between Freeport and Rockford. But still, we just got to watch this activity closely, if anything, mainly for that flooding threat. So I'm interested to see why we haven't, okay. Maybe it got covered up by the severe thunderstorm warning. That would probably be my thing. So essentially Belvidere, Poplar Grove, Candlewick Lake, Timber Lane, Garden Prairie, you're under a flash flood warning now until 1 a.m. So if you're under a flash flood warning, really want to take this seriously. Turn around, don't drown. Those are the 4 words that you should always remember when it comes to driving through potential flooding. Turn around. You do not want to drive through flooded roadways because it only takes just a little bit of water and you lose control of your car. We saw plenty of that, hundreds of cases of that in the city of Rockford last night, and we do not need to see the same thing going on tonight. So Really, just if you do not have to be out, just don't. If you need to head to work, be very careful as you drive to work for tonight. You know, if you see a flooded road, just turn around, find an alternate route. Just think of alternate routes that you can go through now in your mind before you head out. That you go, okay, so if this part of this road is flooded out, I can turn around and I can go around to this road, or and et cetera, et cetera. Because we're just seeing tremendous amounts of rainfall within this. Okay, we're going to have a brand new tornado warning for Lee County. Let's take a look and let's see what this is, where this is. This is going to be with a possible tornado near Amboy, moving off to the north and east. So let's learn about this a little bit first. So if you're under this tornado warning, including Amboy and then on to the north, close to Ashton, you want to take shelter immediately. So let's pull this back up here. Oops, did not mean to do that. So here's Amboy. Here's Franklin Grove, just kind of grazing Ashton here. This is Interstate 88, and here's US 30. Compton is over here. Sublette is down here. This is to the north of Sublette. Sublette is down here about where my hand is. This red shading here is where we now have a tornado warning in central Lee County. This includes the US 30 corridor, and then on northward towards Franklin Grove, just grazing by Ashton. This does not include Dixon. This does not, for now, this does not include Stewart. This does not include Paw Paw. So if you're in Amboy and Ashton, areas north of Sublette and Compton, you want to take shelter immediately. Move below ground, away from the windows. Think of putting as many walls between you and the outside as possible. A basement is preferred, but the first floor is okay. Get out of a mobile home and seek shelter as quickly as possible. The last places you want to be in a tornado warning is in a mobile home and in a car. You want to find a site-built structure, whether it's a house, a gas station, a convenience store, whatever works for you. Just find a site-built structure as soon as possible and take shelter. When you find that safe shelter, and even in your home, when you find your safe room, try to cover up with blankets. Maybe take sofa cushions off of the couch, and maybe even put on bike helmets if you've got those laying around, or even something like a construction hard hat. Put on good shoes too. Just try to protect your head and your feet in the case of potential for flying debris. So here's what it looks like here on Exact Track Radar right now. And I do want to pull on the velocity tool, and that's where we see we've got possible rotation there right on top of Amboy, moving off to the north and east, it looks like. So in fact, what I'm going to want to do here, we're going to take a pause for just 1 second. We're going to bring this coverage right on the air because we now have a tornado warning for Lee County. So we'll pause here for just a second, and we'll make sure our on-air viewers know that we now have a tornado warning in Lee County. This is Meteorologist John Jurgens breaking into coverage to bring you a tornado warning in central Lee County. This includes the city of Amboy, as well as areas near and south of Ashton and Franklin Grove, as well as areas north of Sublette. This is a tornado warning until 9 p.m. So if you are in this area shaded in red along US 30 and US 52, areas just to the north, or to the south, I should say, of I-88. Now a tornado warning in effect for central Lee County. If you're under this tornado warning, you want to move into a basement preferably, but a first floor is fine. You want to just put as many walls between you and the outside. Find a centermost room on the lowest floor of your home. If you're in a mobile home or in a car, if you want to get out of those, find a site-built structure as soon as possible. You do not want to be in a mobile home or a car during a tornado. Those are the last places you want to be. When you find your safe spot in your home or wherever you are, see if you can cover up with blankets or even sofa cushions. Maybe put on bike helmets or a construction hard hat just to protect your head from any flying debris. Also put on good shoes in case you need to walk over any kind of debris so that you can protect just everything that you can from a potential flying debris from a possible tornado. This rotation was detected near Amboy here just in the last few minutes, and we'll put on the velocity tool here, and we can see how we have those green and reds just right next to each other, just to the north of Amboy. That's going to be really where we watch to see where we have that potential tornado. I'll zoom in even further. Let's get down and into the city of Amboy here. So this looks like it's just to the north of the city limits there along US 52. The Lee County Fairgrounds sits right up here. So US 52 here, US 30 here. So I can pan the map just a little bit farther to the north. So possible tornado right here. And let's pull up the Lee County Fairgrounds right here. So if you've ever been to the Lee County Fairgrounds, this possible tornado is passing between the Lee County Fairgrounds and the city of Amboy here off to the south. So this is moving off to the east, getting close to Lee Center here in the next few minutes. Let me zoom this back on out here so we can try to give as much of a heads up as we can for areas off to the east of this thunderstorm. I'll just check with our National Weather Service chat session here just to get the movement here. So this is moving off to the north and east at 30. So we had a brand new radar scan, and I'm not seeing too much here right now. Very broad rotation here that's now moved just off to the north and east of Amboy. So let's bring this farther out here. So moving northeast at 25 miles per hour. We have a brand new tornado warning. So let's get to that one here very quickly. Brand new tornado warning now, and we're keeping our coverage here on Channel 13 as now we have a tornado warning for southwestern Carroll and northeastern Whiteside counties. So this includes the city of Milledgeville. If you're watching us in Milledgeville, take shelter now. If you know anybody in Milledgeville or across northeastern Whiteside County, give them a call. Now they're under a tornado warning until 9:15. As you can see, this does not include the city of Sterling. This is a tornado warning until 9:15. So same story, Milledgeville, as well as nearby areas of southwestern Carroll County, as well as northern parts of Whiteside County. We're looking at a tornado warning there until 9:15. You want to go to your basement preferably, but the first floor is fine, like I just mentioned for our friends in Lee County. So you really want to make sure, get out of those cars and mobile homes and take shelter immediately. So we have a potential tornado here. We're not necessarily going to see it on velocity, and it looks like we have a new severe thunderstorm warning. I'll get to that here in just a little bit, but looks like we may have rotation here along the Carroll and Whiteside County line just to the south of Milledgeville. This is Illinois Highway 40. Or Route 40, I should say, that goes south towards Sterling. It looks like it's just past Route 40 along the Carroll and Whiteside County line. So if this holds together, we may need to be talking about areas near Polo and Lost Nation, talking about that potential rotation. This is moving off to the north and east at... the National Weather Service in the Quad Cities is saying that they are getting a spotter report of a tornado on the ground with this cell right here. So getting a brand new radar scan. It's not as impressive as it was just then, but there is, looks like a pretty small area of rotation there just north of the community of Jordan. This is in northeastern Whiteside County. I'm looking for a storm track here towards the east at about 30. So let's bring this out here, and I may need to zoom out actually just a little bit just so that we can make sure to get everybody in this. So this will be a storm track for the next hour. With this cell that a spotter is reporting a potential tornado down. This will be moving in towards, let me drag this over towards off to the side here. Okay. So this will be reaching the, so Oregon is not under a tornado warning by any means, but as the storm gets closer, we're going to be targeting a time around 9:30 for the Oregon area up towards Pine Creek at 9:15. Again, not under a tornado warning in Ogle County, but with the cell that may be producing a tornado south of Milledgeville, we have a potential, we have rotation that has developed that is now tornado warned in Carroll and Whiteside counties. Let me clear this out and let's go back to our Lee County tornado warning. So we have multiple tornado warnings ongoing at the same time here. Here's that situation there near Amboy. Again, not as well defined as it was before, but we still want to make sure everybody is taking this threat seriously. Let's pan this even a little farther off to the west there. So let's get to a storm track here. This is moving at about 25 miles per hour. And then I'll have to do the same thing with this one as well. Pardon me. Let me grab this over here. So this would be reaching essentially the Rochelle area close to about 9:15 or thereabouts, towards Creston at 9:30, Malta at 9:41. I do want to stress Rochelle, Creston, or Malta not under tornado warning at this point, but we just want to give you an advanced heads up with this tornado warned circulation that we want to make sure that you are just staying aware of this, as if this holds together, this would be reaching your communities here over the next about hour or so. So that is the update there. We have 2 brand new tornado warnings into Lee County, as well as until 9 o'clock, and for Carroll and Whiteside counties until 9:15. So as we take a look further along here, I did get an update here that we have an upgrade to the flash flood warning in Winnebago County, and it looks like a brand new severe thunderstorm warning in Whiteside County, including the city of Sterling. Let me get you the update on the flash flood warning for Winnebago County, including the city of Rockford, because I got that as we were going on the air, and I know phones probably across the whole entire city of Rockford have been going off with that new flash flood warning. Up to 2 inches of rainfall have already occurred in the city of Rockford, with an additional 2 inches possible. The worsening of flash flooding is imminent in the city of Rockford. So yet again, like we saw last night, we may be seeing a repeat of what we saw. So in the city of Rockford, we want to take the situation very, very seriously. A flash flood threat is now increasing once again, pretty much area or citywide. We're going to be talking about potential for flash flooding like we saw last night. So Charles Street, Auburn Street, Perryville, State Street, pretty much just all across the city of Rockford. We could be seeing that renewed threat for flash flooding. So if you do not need to drive in the city of Rockford tonight, I would strongly urge you not to, just because if we are seeing like we saw last night, and in fact, if I can ask our director, maybe if we could take a look at the downtown camera that we have in downtown Rockford, just so we can see what it looks like in downtown Rockford. Okay, so there we can see how you have such low visibility and just almost constant lightning. So the city of Rockford is under a severe thunderstorm warning. That warning is in effect until there have been so many severe thunderstorm warnings. We're starting to lose track of which ones are which. And we've just had so many other warnings continuing to be issued here. Let me try to get a end time on the Winnebago County severe thunderstorm warning until 9:45. So, and it's this kind of very heavy rain activity, which is why we have a flash flood warning in place until 1 a.m. At least that was the last I saw it. Yes, 1 a.m. for a flash flood warning for the city of Rockford. So it's going to be this kind of activity similar to what we saw last night that we are seeing again tonight. So again, if you encounter a flooded roadway, just turn around. Do not drive through it. We saw hundreds of these water rescues last night, and trust me, the fire department, the police department, they do not want to be out there, working through these water rescues again. So just very serious situation now developing in the city of Rockford. Do not drive through any kind of flooded roadways. You can see pouring rain in the city of Rockford at this point. So let's head back to Exact Track radar. As we can see, the warnings now in place. Tornado warning in central Lee County. This is in effect until 9 p.m. And a tornado warning for southwestern Carroll and northeastern Whiteside. This is well to the north of Sterling. This tornado warning does include the city of Milledgeville. If you're in Milledgeville, you want to take shelter. This is a tornado warning until 9:15. And let me pull the warning map up just one more time, just so we can get that information off the side there. This tornado warning is in effect until 9 p.m. for central Lee County. Amboy, we can give you an all clear. The tornado threat has passed off to the north and east of Amboy. However, places like Franklin Grove and Ashton, especially if you are to the south of Franklin Grove and Ashton, pretty much between I-88 that sits right here and US 30 that sits right here. That is the active tornado warning. This is an urgent situation there, and we have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. So let's take a look at where that is concerned. So that looks like for Rock and Walworth counties, a severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30. Penny-sized hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts for Rock and Walworth counties. And even as I was talking, another brand new severe thunderstorm warning, this time for the southern half of Whiteside County. So just about all of Whiteside County now under a severe thunderstorm warning until 9:30. All of Ogle County under a severe thunderstorm warning, with the exception of the Forreston, Leaf River, Adeline areas. Severe thunderstorm warning until 9:45. And then most of Winnebago County, including the city of Rockford towards New Milford and Cherry Valley, until I believe that's supposed to be 9:45. There we go. Yeah, 9:45 for this warning, as well as for the severe thunderstorm warning for the southern half of Boone County, essentially areas near and south of Route 173. So you've got Caledonia here, Poplar Grove here, Capron up here towards, and then Harvard, obviously, into McHenry County. These southern, essentially the southern 2/3 of Boone County, area south of 173 under a severe thunderstorm warning. This for 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts and quarter-size hail. If you are under a severe thunderstorm warning, as many of those of you watching are, you want to move inside away from the windows. Be prepared for potential tree damage around your home and potentially damage to your windows with the potential for quarter-size hail. And also be prepared for power outages. Our coverage is on WREX.com, the 13 news and weather apps, Facebook and YouTube for that reason, so that if you do lose power, you can head over to our digital platforms and you can get our coverage just like that. And then also, especially along the US 20 corridor, that looks like to be where we're seeing the worst of the flooding as of now, especially the city of Rockford. You really want to take that seriously, the flash flooding potential. So here's that cell rolling into Whiteside County, and then here's that tornado warned cell into the northeastern part of the county. So here, and then now we'll jump over to this cell in Lee County. So let's pull up the lightning tool. This will be a look at radar, and you can see on reflectivity, we may be seeing an indication of rotation there. Let me pull up the velocity tool. And it's very broad across central Lee County. Let me check in with the National Weather Service here on their latest thinking. I haven't seen anything with that yet, but right now a broad area of rotation is along US 30, moving off to the north and east, mainly to the south of Ashton and Franklin Grove. They're along, well, technically they're along Route 38, but also pretty much right along I-88. So if you're south of I-88, there we're getting, oh my, okay, we may be getting a renewed rotation there in northern Lee County here between US 30 and I-88. So let's keep an eye on that here pretty closely. Let's pull back up the reflectivity. Be right in here, okay, where we see that notch there, maybe seeing a little bit of rotation in there. So we'll watch that area. Check the velocity. So right in there. We'll check the turbulence tool as well. We are seeing plenty of turbulence there, so that's kind of the next step to see whether we could be seeing that potential. Not seeing a debris signature on radar as of yet, so some reassuring news there that we're not quite seeing a drop, or at least a signature there on the debris tracker, that we're not quite seeing a radar confirmation of a tornado down, but it does, at least on velocity, does look like we may have some strengthening rotation there to the east of Poplar Grove. And let's pan it out here towards, because eventually this is going to be nearing the Rochelle area and then into parts of DeKalb County as well. So this is moving off to the north and east at about 25 miles per hour. Timing this out. So these areas that you see here are not under any kind of tornado warning. However, we want to give you an advanced heads up as we may be seeing this rotation tightening up just a little bit. So Creston towards 9:30, Malta at 9:41. So now we're getting into DeKalb County and the city of DeKalb itself towards 9:50. Now, whether the tornado threat hangs on for that long, I would tend to doubt it. I think eventually we'll be turning to more of a damaging wind threat. However, we can't rule it out. So we just got to keep our eyes on this area of rotation here that would be nearing the Rochelle area relatively close to 9:15. So at 8:55 right now, we have 2 tornado warnings, one in central Lee County and the other near Milledgeville in southern Carroll County. That would be reaching the Ogle County area towards Polo here in the not too distant future. So we'll zoom in on the other tornado warning cell that we have. And if I'm going to be honest, it looks very messy across Carroll and Whiteside counties. I'm not seeing as defined of a tornadic signature there with that activity. And not quite seeing anything from the National Weather Service in terms of any kind of reports of rotation or of any kind of tornadic activity. So, but as we see it on radar right now, not seeing a very well-defined, maybe just a little bit there, pretty much near where Whiteside, Carroll, and Ogle counties all come together, but that is not truly indicative of a developing tornado. So, and with that, let's go back to the wider picture, and then I'll pop on the warnings here. So we'll have this warning. So it looks like Milledgeville has been trimmed out of the warning. So just northeastern Whiteside County, very small sliver of Whiteside County under a tornado warning until 9:15. And this tornado warning for central Lee County, which expires at 9 o'clock. So we'll give it another 3 minutes here. Let me check with the National Weather Service as to how they're going to handle this. Okay. They're going to let the tornado warning for central Lee County to expire. So the tornado threat appears to have weakened into central Lee County, and the National Weather Service says that they're going to let this tornado warning expire. So with that, we will continue our continuing coverage on WREX.com, the 13 news and weather apps, as well as YouTube and our Facebook pages. So you can join us there. And of course, if we get any new warnings, we will of course update you on air. But obviously, as we send our viewers back to regular programming, in the city of Rockford, we yet again have a developing flash flood situation. So especially pretty much along all of the US 20 corridor, especially into Winnebago County and the city of Rockford. This is a pretty dangerous situation when it comes to flash flooding. Remember to do not drive through flooded roadways. Any just little bit of running water will set your car and you'll lose control. So just do not drive through flooded roadways. We saw hundreds of cases of this last night. We do not want to be doing this again tonight. So again, continuing coverage here on our digital properties. I'll send our Channel 13 viewers back to regular programming. And of course, make sure to stay safe, everyone, and join our continuing coverage that will resume here shortly. And this is Meteorologist John Jurgens back with continuing coverage of multiple severe thunderstorm warnings and just waves of severe thunderstorms across the area. So let's take a big picture look here at radar. So this tornado warning across central Lee County that we were just on the air for on Channel 13, that has just, and there you saw it right at the stroke of 10 o'clock, or 9 o'clock, I should say. Oh, wow. Just dropped off the board. This small sliver of Whiteside County remains under a tornado warning. I have yet to hear anything from the National Weather Service as to what they are going to do with that tornado warning. Let's take a look here. So in terms of the severe thunderstorm warning into Winnebago, Ogle, Boone, and DeKalb counties, and it looks like we may be getting an extension here into DeKalb and Kane counties here. I just saw that here in our chat session. Let me pull this back up here for, okay, I may need to move that back over here. Sorry about that. Let's pull up the let's just zoom in on the eastern part of the area here first to give you guys, so here we've got the heaviest of the rain pretty much over southern Boone County, just stretching up northwards towards the Route 173 corridor. And then let's also, here, I just realized maybe we should time this out. So I'll get a timing here in just a second. This is moving off to the east. I can tell you that at 35 miles per hour. So and that's what I have it set to. So let's kind of draw this out here and try to give it about like that. So Genoa pretty much right on top of you right now. Sycamore here in the next 10 minutes. And then on towards Cortland at about 9:20. And then into the kind of the far out Chicago suburbs. There you saw. So that's what that notification there is, a severe thunderstorm warning. Now for pretty much the rest of DeKalb County at this point. So let's, come on there. Here, maybe my clicker lost its. Alrighty, excuse me, I'll just step off screen here just for a little bit. Let me see the weather computer acting up just a little bit on me here. So this is a severe thunderstorm warning essentially for the rest of DeKalb County, including the city of DeKalb, and then on eastwards towards Genoa and Cortland, as well as Sycamore. Now under a severe thunderstorm warning. And now, of course, the weather computer is freezing up on me, of course. So, alrighty, so let's do this. So, let's see, Max, how about we take downtown Rockford camera once again while I kind of deal with this kind of technical situation there. Thank you. So, there's a look at downtown Rockford. This is where we have a flash flood warning in place until 1 a.m. So, and this is being called a considerable situation by the National Weather Service. So this is a very serious situation developing in the city of Rockford, and I can already tell you, just going through my phone, that we are seeing plenty of water rescues now being reported across the city of Rockford, including Alpine Park Drive, near Jefferson Street and Oakwood Avenue, James Avenue, Charles Street, Spring Creek Road. We're already getting these, and we're barely 2 hours into this, and we're already hearing about water rescues in the city of Rockford. So this is a very serious situation, just like what we saw last night. We're seeing it again tonight, that we have significant flooding in the city of Rockford, and already water rescues being reported. And just from the roster of streets that I just mentioned, these are pretty much citywide. So we're just essentially seeing a repeat of what we saw from last night. So again, I cannot emphasize this enough. Turn around and don't drown. That is the utmost importance heading into tonight. We've got severe thunderstorms that we also contend with potential for wind damage, but the biggest thing is going to be dealing with the potential of flash flooding concerns. That is of the utmost importance as we head over the rest of tonight. So as long as I can get my computer, I think we've got it all back and set up once again. Okay, let's try to bring up exact track radar one more time, and unfortunately it is just not going to work for me. So let me try to do this just one more time, and unfortunately I've lost it. So what we're going to do here, we're going to just kind of man it from here, because I am not quite sure why we have lost that ability. So, alrighty, so how about this? I'll step off camera one more time, and then I will magically appear at what we call the weather pod. And here I am. Wow, we just took a pretty nice lightning hit here at the station. That actually shook me up big time. So pardon me while I get logged on here, because we kind of had to change our kind of rundown here, just because it looks like we're just having some technical issues. So let's get it right back up. So again, let's bring it to the big picture. Winnebago County still under a severe thunderstorm warning until 9:45. I think the bulk of the severe weather threat has shifted off to the east of Winnebago County. Pretty much right on top of Boone County, areas south of 173. That is where pretty much the strongest severe thunderstorm threat is as of right now, stretching into DeKalb County. Into Ogle County, pretty much the heaviest of the rain right now along the I-39 corridor towards Rochelle. And there we go. Now I can actually get the communities on here. So you can see torrential rainfall across really the northern half of DeKalb County, and now severe thunderstorm warnings extending into the rest of DeKalb County. That severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 10 o'clock. So DeKalb, Sycamore, north to Genoa. You are now under a severe thunderstorm warning until 10 o'clock. We were just getting that info out, and then that's when our computer decided to take a little bit of a break there. So bear with me while I pull up our chat sessions here on this computer. So then let's take a look. Okay. And let's pull up the velocity tool. Just to see. Yeah, we could see some pretty strong winds coming into northern Winnebago County as of right now. Or DeKalb County, I should say, I beg your pardon. Northern DeKalb County, essentially areas north of the city of DeKalb. This, to me, indicates when you see that Boeing signature, that to me tells me that there is a pretty strong push of wind that is going into the city of DeKalb. And in fact, we do have live camera ability in DeKalb. This is from the NIU Meteorology Department. We can see it looks like a pretty decent shelf cloud now moving into DeKalb County, or into the city of DeKalb. However, not quite seeing, and just to be transparent here, so this one takes a picture every 10 seconds, so it's not a fully, motion video. It's just taking a picture once every 10 seconds. So you can see like little bits of lightning every here and there, but now not quite seeing anything too much other than it looks like a pretty nice shelf cloud now moving into the city of DeKalb. Alrighty, so this is going to put me back into the western part of the area. So, and then let me put this into motion here just so that we can kind of look at to see how this is all moving. So you can see the main push of thunderstorm activity is now pushing outside of the city of Rockford. Thankfully, there is a little bit of a break. It's not completely dry. There is some light to moderate rainfall behind this. However, there is just a little bit of a break, and there is still some activity out behind it. However, it almost looks like it's got more of a southern component of motion to it, so maybe diving into the southern part of the area, and also not nearly as widespread as this activity. As you can see, just tremendous amounts of lightning here and torrential rainfall that is going into southern Boone County and then into northern DeKalb County. So let me pull up our Facebook chat. I'm sure you guys have been asking questions up the wazoo, but I've been kind of all over the place, unfortunately, and my apologies for that. Now at 9:15, we are going to see that tornado warning in Whiteside County, that little sliver there, expire. It looks like we got a brand new severe thunderstorm warning, and I believe this will include McHenry County. So this is a brand new severe thunderstorm warning for the area in, so Marengo, Woodstock, McHenry, Crystal Lake, and then on farther south towards Huntley and Algonquin and into the Chicago suburbs. Now a brand new severe thunderstorm warning. Let me triple check that this is actually in effect until 9:45, and it is. Okay, so McHenry County, Marengo on east towards Crystal Lake, north to McHenry and Woodstock. You are now under a severe thunderstorm warning until 9:45. This is for quarter-size hail and 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts. This is with this segment of the thunderstorms that's in Boone County right now in Belvedere. This will be moving east across McHenry County over the next, let's see, about half hour or so, given that it is 9:15 already. So there until 9:45. Okay, that's going to be a concern. Okay, so with this severe thunderstorm warning, and with all of the severe thunderstorm warnings that we have active, I'll get into that here in just a second. If you're under a severe thunderstorm warning, you get inside, mainly get away from the windows. We could have damage to tree limbs, and with the potential for quarter-size hail, that's hail big enough that it can damage your windows too. So you just want to stay away from those windows as best as you can. And we're also going to be watching out for potential power outages as well. I have not heard any kind of numbers in terms of power outages quite yet, but just be prepared for the potential for power outages. So just taking a look here at the Facebook chat session. So Lisa saying tornado near Polo. I have not, there was let me pull up the warnings that we had previously for the northeastern sliver of Whiteside County. However, the National Weather Service has not extended a tornado warning into Ogle County. However, we can take a look at the velocity tool and really just not seeing anything at this point. It's very messy on radar as of right now, so really not seeing any kind of tornadic activity near Polo at this point. And we can pull up the reflectivity display, and you can see how it's pretty much all pushing off to the south and east. So we could have maybe some strong winds pushing into Dixon right now. No severe thunderstorm warning for Lee County, at least as of last check. Yeah, no severe thunderstorm warning to Lee County. You're kind of bordered to the west and to the north by severe thunderstorm warnings, but so far Lee County has managed to stay away from those, and you can see there when that tornado warning has been dropped off the board in northeastern Whiteside County. There hasn't been rotation there in some time. I mean, even when we were talking about the Lee County tornado warning at up until 9 o'clock, the rotation there was very broad, if anything. There was a spotter report of a potential tornado in the Colida area in northern Whiteside County. However, we have not heard anything about that. Eric asking, any idea why sirens were going off in Beloit? That I am not sure of. There has not been any tornado warnings in the Beloit area. There were only severe thunderstorm warnings. Let's pull this on a loop here. Yeah, it looks like there may have been some pretty gusty winds kind of going up the Interstate 43 corridor right now, and you can see that going on into Walworth County. But yeah, I'm not entirely sure. I mean, there's a little bit of a very broad rotation. I wouldn't call this tornadic at all, but you can see how there's a little bit of rotation there east of Janesville, just in the gradual system itself. That's not tornadic, that's just the this is the very small scale low pressure system that's actually kind of kicked off everything tonight, is kind of pushing across Janesville and now into pretty much along the Rock-Walworth County line at this point. But as for the sirens going off in Beloit, there have not been any tornado warnings. Whether there was something spotted, I can check with the National Weather Service here in just a little bit. Frank asking, is there a tornado warning in Sublet? Not anymore. That was allowed to expire at 9 o'clock, and even if it was just to the north of you, it was more of an Amboy up to Ashton thing. But that tornado threat has gone down, has gone away, essentially. That warning was allowed to expire at 9 o'clock, and we're hearing about power outages across the Belvedere area, and as well as into Fairdale in northern DeKalb County. And Stephanie's asking when the severe threat is over. So if you have a specific area in mind, Stephanie, let me know. But so far, the warnings have been, and I believe we have an update. So Winnebago County now outside of the severe thunderstorm warning, most of Ogle County now outside of the warning, pretty much the Rochelle areas and points along the I-39 corridor under a severe thunderstorm warning. But the reason why we're focusing off to the south is because we have the active severe thunderstorm warnings, and even just in the last half hour, we had two active tornado warnings. So that's why we've been focused there off to the south. We have a brand new severe thunderstorm warning, and it's for Lee County. So I knew I was going to jinx you there in a second, but now we have a new severe thunderstorm warning for just about all of Lee County, it looks like. So this includes Dixon and on south and west towards Amboy. This will include Sublette, West Brooklyn, maybe stretching into Compton as well, and then farther off to the north and east, including the community of Stewart here in the northeastern part of the county, as well as for Ashton and Franklin Grove. You are now all under a severe thunderstorm warning until 10 o'clock, it looks like. So when you're under this severe thunderstorm warning, you want to move to the lowest floor, try to stay away from those windows, because we could have that tree damage and power line damage as well. Be prepared for those power outages too, as well as for flooding rainfall. It does look like the farther south they go, the storms seem to be moving just a little bit quicker. But nonetheless, just be on the lookout for potential localized flooding, just because there's just so much rainfall falling in a very short amount of time. So here's what we're looking at as of right now in Lee County. Heaviest of the rain right now across the northern part of the county, including Dixon and towards Ashton and Franklin Grove. That is going to be pushing off to the south and east here. So 60-mile-per-hour wind gusts on the way for Amboy. Then farther off to the south towards Sublette, West Brooklyn, and eventually Compton. This does not include Paw Paw for right now, but it's going to be kind of on your way here, probably just after the 10 o'clock hour. So Stephanie asking about the Poplar Grove and Belvedere areas in terms of the severe weather threat ending. The worst of this push of this line of thunderstorms is now exiting Boone County. It's pretty much the only lingering question, and let me bring this on out over here, is going to be if any of this activity can go severe. The environment has been pretty worked over just with the strength of the initial push of thunderstorms. So this would be the only kind of question mark. I would doubt that they gain a lot of severe strength, that they gain severe strength at all. If anything, I would just be worried about potential for flooding with this scattered activity behind it. So I can put it on a loop here, and we'll just watch it here for a few scans. And I think when we were noticing this before too, how it's almost like a farther southward component of motion here. So maybe we can, I mean, hopefully, just because just torrential amounts of rain across this area, not a good thing at all. But in terms of an all clear from the severe threat, I'd rather just know what these guys are doing. Okay, we've got a brand new tornado warning, and it's going to include DeKalb here, at least into DeKalb County. Mason asking tornado threats in the Rockford area tonight. The tornado threats have pretty much cleared out of Rockford, but we now have a tornado warning into DeKalb County. So let me move this on over here just so that we can make sure. Okay, so this does not include DeKalb. This includes eastern parts of Sycamore. Let me zoom in real tight here on Sycamore. So you can see here, this is Route 23 here. So farther to the south, that's where you go down to go to DeKalb. Farther north, that's where you go to Genoa. Sycamore, areas east of Route 23. You are under a tornado warning. This does not include the city of DeKalb. This barely includes Cortland. So kind of areas. So, and that's exactly what I was going to point out. The DeKalb, the Taylor Airport, the DeKalb Taylor Municipal Airport sits right there just outside of the warning, but Cortland, up to Sycamore and then points off to the east, you are under a tornado warning. This includes Maple Park. And then this is eventually going to keep on moving off to the east along pretty much along Route 64. This is Route 38, so Elburn sits right about there. And then here we're talking about kind of the Randall Road kind of section here across Kane County. So Elgin towards St. Charles. St. Charles is under this tornado warning, as well as southwards towards Batavia and close to Geneva as well. So if you know anybody in these areas, I know we have a whole lot of people that know people that live in Kane County. So if you know anybody living in these areas here, Cortland, north to Sycamore in DeKalb County, and then points off to the east. We're talking about a brand new tornado warning now in effect. So let's pull this up here. So we may have two circulations here, one pretty much right on top of Sycamore, right there, and the other one coming out of the east side of DeKalb. Let's check in. You're fine. Sorry, I'm just talking with the control room in my ear. My apologies. So this is a potential for, I'm just trying to see if this has been confirmed or not. I'm getting, okay. So this will kind of be reaching so these two circulations are what we're watching for right now. These will be reaching the Kane County and pretty much right now, the Kane County border. I was going to say about the next 5 to 10 minutes or so, but they may be picking up speed just a little bit. So you can see circulation, the southern circulation there is now pretty much right on top of Maple Park. Maybe have broadened out just a little bit, and the second one now is just to the north of Route 23, crossing the Kane County line. So at this point, we can definitely give the city of DeKalb an all clear. I know that. But Sycamore, maybe just give it just another 5 minutes. Let's give you till to the bottom of the hour, I should say, at 9:30. Especially if you're farther east of Sycamore in rural DeKalb County, just give it about 5 more minutes. Let's get this thing across the Kane County line, and then we'll give you the all clear. So this is the new tornado warning in DeKalb County until 10 o'clock. However, I think here by the time we get to about 9:30, we can clear out DeKalb County from this potential, just because the two areas of circulation that we're watching for, one in the general area of Route 38 and the other in the general area of Route 64. These are going to be kind of moving off to the east. So at 9:30, I'm prepared to give DeKalb County an all clear from that tornado warning. So that's the latest bit of breaking news that we've had here just in the last few minutes, that this tornado warning issued for the far eastern section of DeKalb County. I'll give you about another 4 minutes or so up until about 9:30, and then we can give yourself an all clear. Let's check through. Okay, hearing reports of just same spots in the city of Rockford that are just completely flooding out at this point. So again, let's go back to that flash flooding threat in the city of Rockford right now. This is a flash flood warning for the city of Rockford until 1 a.m. In fact, let's clear out of the tornado warning here. And then what we can do is we can take a look at the estimated rainfall. We did this a little bit last night if you were up with us late. And it's these same spots in the east side of Rockford that are really getting in on the heaviest of the rainfall. So this is State Street right here. Estimated rainfall, this is really only over the last about 2.5 to 3 hours or so, of about 2.5 to 3 inches of rainfall. So average that out, that's about 1 inch per hour in terms of the rainfall rates, which is heavy enough. I mean, last night we were talking about 2 to 3 inch per hour rainfall rates. Tonight, we're only talking about 1 inch per hour rates, which is still torrential rainfall, but we're also talking about a much more vulnerable environment. So that's why we're talking about the renewed flash flooding that we saw last night. And that's kind of what we're hearing here, at least the reports from the National Weather Service that are coming in, that are kind of talking about similar areas, similar conditions to what we saw just last night. So again, I want to strongly emphasize that there is, once again, the very serious flash flooding situation ongoing in the city of Rockford. Widespread street flooding near Gorham Place and Barrington Road. Widespread street flooding near 11th and Broadway. These are all similar conditions. The Rockford Police Department is saying that there are stalled cars all across the city. So just do not go out on the roads if you do not have to. And if you absolutely need to and you encounter a flooded road, just turn around. It is not worth it to drive through these flooded roadways. Just please do not do it. You're putting your own life at risk and the lives of the first responders that need to come out and get you, that are already overwhelmed with the amount of people that they're trying to save. So just really, please, just if you do not have to get out there and drive, do not do so. Don't go out sightseeing. You know, we saw plenty of those videos last night of people going around sightseeing. Look at all these cars that are being swept away. Just don't do that. Please don't do that. That just puts, you know, your life in danger and the lives of those that are duty bound to go out and rescue you. That puts their lives in danger as well. So just please do not go out if you do not need to tonight. This especially goes for the city of Rockford, but it also goes for much of the US 20 corridor. And I want to expand this out because we have flash flood warnings that are also in place for the Freeport area into Stevenson County, into Jodavious County, and into northern Carroll County. That flash flood warning is in effect, I believe it was later, I think it was 2:30. Yes, until 2:30 for Jodavious County, so areas like Stockton, northern Carroll County, including places like Savannah and Mount Carroll, over towards Lanark and Shannon. Just watch out for these flooded roadways. And again, for much of Stevenson County, including the city of Freeport and southwards towards German Valley and Pearl City, but really going to be wanting to emphasize the US 20 corridor, because there are some spots on US 20 in the Freeport area that tend to flood very quickly. I would imagine that we're probably seeing at least some flooding across Stevenson County here. And if anyone has heard of any reports of any kind of flooding, and you can send them off here to our Facebook page. Please let us know if we can give people a heads up that, hey, there's flooding on X and Y Street. Just if you can, let us know that we can give as many people a heads up that may need to be out and about. So Kyle's asking, is I-3990 flooded? My friend said it was flooded around Rockford and north of Rockford. That certainly could be the case. There are some parts of the interstate that do dip down and can kind of act as like a bowl, if you will. That water just kind of goes down to the lowest lying area. So it's certainly a possibility, but I know I have not heard any kind of flooding situation on the interstate as of yet. But let me try to go through at least our latest reports here. Yeah, I'm not seeing anything about the tollway or anything like that being flooded. That doesn't necessarily mean that it's not happening. It just means that we haven't heard about it yet. As we're talking about flash flooding, we have a brand new flash flood warning, and it does look like it includes parts of Ogle County. So now we're talking about a brand new flash flood warning as the push of thunderstorms rolls across. So just about all of eastern Ogle and southern Ogle counties. So Rochelle, Lindenwood, Chena, Kings, Monroe Center, Davis Junction, towards Stillman Valley. Does not include Byron, barely includes Oregon, does not include Mount Morris. Just to the south of Polo. This is where we have a new flash flood warning in place until, let me get the end time here, 1:30 a.m. And this flash flood warning also including the entirety of Lee County. So if you're watching us in Lee County, you are now under a flash flood warning until 1:30 a.m. And we are and we see this northward into eastern Ogle and southern Ogle counties until 1:30. The flash flood warning into the city of Rockford is in effect until 1 a.m. The flash flood warning for Boone County is also until 1 a.m. And then, as we talked about before, I'll just pull it up here, is until 2:30 here for Stevenson, Jodavious, and Carroll counties. So we have widespread flash flood warnings ongoing across much of the area, in addition to widespread, at least in parts of the area, severe thunderstorm warnings. So now it's 9:33, and there you can see now the warning officially trimmed out of DeKalb County. So if you were wondering about sirens in DeKalb County, I thought I saw a comment here on the Facebook chat of they were hearing sirens going off in DeKalb County. There was for 2 circulations that were near Sycamore and Cortland, but those have since moved off into Kane County as of right now. So that is what we have had in terms of that tornado threat. So the tornado threat for DeKalb County is over with this area of thunderstorms that's moved through. We do continue severe thunderstorm warnings across really the northern 2/3 or so of DeKalb County. And we may have just gotten a flash flood warning for DeKalb County. And I have a strong suspicion that this is going to be just about for the whole county. And yes, it is. So all of DeKalb County now under a flash flood warning. DeKalb, Sycamore, Route 72, I-88, US 30, US 34. You're all under a flash flood warning now in DeKalb County. So this is the latest alert that we've just gotten from the Weather Service. This flash flood warning is in effect until 1:30. So DeKalb, Lee, southern and eastern Ogle, under flash flood warnings until 1:30 a.m. Southern Boone, including the city of Belvedere, and I don't know why, let's just bring it up to the north here just so we can show people. Southern Boone, including the city of Belvedere, southern Winnebago, including Rockford, on to New Milford and Cherry Valley, westward towards Pecatonica and Winnebago. This flash flood warning, these 2 warnings, there are 2 different warnings for Winnebago and Boone. Both are in effect until 1 a.m. And then off to the west, Stockton area, Freeport area, Lanark towards Savannah. That flash flood warning is in effect until 2:30. The National Weather Service in the Quad Cities just let the warnings go on a little bit longer, which does make sense here in this case as the radar switched back over to DeKalb County, because we still have these storms, these more scattered storms that are across the western part of the area. So we still have some heavy rain ongoing in parts of that flash flood warning. So that's why that is in effect until 2:30. Isaac asking, is Sterling in the clear? You're pretty much in the heaviest of the rain right now. Let me pull up a better look on radar for you. You've got more storms coming down the pipeline, though, it looks like. Yeah, you've got this stuff that's out here near Maquoketa. That'll be kind of getting into your general area here. So at least the severe weather threat, I'm seeing a noticeable increase in the strength there of that storm near Maquoketa. So whether that's producing severe activity, at least not yet, because the National Weather Service has not issued any kind of severe thunderstorm warning or anything with that cell. And I would imagine just because the environment is still pretty worked over with this line that came through that's now pushing out of our area at this point. And that also we're talking about it's 9:30, it's after sunset, that we're talking about, the general weakening of these storms. So at least I'm hopeful that we can that we can keep Sterling out of the severe weather threat, but definitely with flooding, I would be worried about in Sterling with the potential as we just see more of these heavy rain bands just kind of following each other kind of right into the city of Sterling. So I would say at this point, your highest threat is still the flash flooding potential, but we still could have some gusty winds and some hail with additional storms that are coming down the pipeline. Stephanie asking again, is Poplar Grove in the clear? So the heaviest of the rain has pushed out of Boone County as of right now. We're still talking about some light to moderate rainfall. And it does look like that activity farther to the west may stay off to the south. So I'm optimistic that the severe weather threat has pretty much gone down for Boone County. But of course, we'll just keep an eye on things as they go along. So far, so good. We haven't seen any new development up across southwestern Wisconsin. So that would kind of be what we would look out for to see if there's any more storms that develop into southwestern Wisconsin. So hopefully that's some good news there that we don't have any new storm activity, because now the rain's starting to lighten up just a little bit in the city of Rockford. So at least, pretty much just at least it's not pouring down rainfall, that at least the rain that's come down and the flooding that's ongoing can recede at least just a little bit, at least gradually. Essentially, we're not adding more than we're subtracting pretty much. With the rainfall rates going down, we're going to start subtracting a little more than what we're adding at this point. So as we're looking at this potential moving through, the worst of the severe weather threat right now is continuing to push out of DeKalb County and pushing across eastern McHenry County. I'm just going to tell you what right now, the flooding threat across Lee County may be becoming a concern here over the next few hours or so. Because you notice how with the bowing of this line here, you notice how it's kind of flattening out, kind of straight east to west here. And with this activity that's off to the west even farther, notice how it's kind of following the same areas. Into Dixon and into pretty much all of Lee County and into southern DeKalb County. So that may be a renewed focus for some flooding threats. It would be across Lee County. So if you're watching us here in the Dixon area into Lee County near the I-88 corridor, watch out for some potential flooding. I'm just noticing that right now, somewhat similar to what we saw last night in Rockford. Although I hope to God that that's not the case, because what we saw in Rockford last night was something that not a lot of us should really see at all. But let's see here. Aaron's asking about Belvedere. The worst of it is pushing off to the east. Just some general light to moderate rain showers still ongoing. Again, hopefully we're just starting to see that flooding threat start to recede just a little bit, but nonetheless, flash flood warning in place for Boone and Winnebago counties until 1:30, and then essentially everywhere farther to the south across eastern Ogle, all of Lee, all of DeKalb counties, flash flood warning until 1:30. Ashley saying Genoa's without power out past city limits. That was about where we saw the kind of the strongest of the wind gusts coming through, and then what kind of developed here. That's a very ominous tornado signature that's passing between Elgin and Aurora at this point. So if you know anybody between Elgin and Aurora, say the St. Charles, Geneva areas, give them a call. There's definitely a tornadic signature there that's rolling into the Chicago suburbs at this point. So that's the threat that we tracked out of DeKalb County, now moving across Kane County. That certainly is a very prominent signature there on radar of a potential tornado. So Haley's asking, how's Rockford looking? Currently stuck at work. There are ongoing water rescues right now. And then, excuse me for pulling out my phone here, but that's where I can find the latest in terms of the flash flooding situation. Let's see here. Eastgate Parkway, Harrison Avenue, Alpine Road, yeah, these are all just similar spots to where we saw before. Rural Street and Prospect Street, that's the 5 Points part of Rockford, if you're familiar with the east side area and then the neighborhoods that are in there. West State Street, Roxbury Road, Guilford Road, Argus Avenue, Buckley Drive, Gardner Avenue. These are all just the same spots that we saw this last night. Central Avenue, Main Street in Illinois, 17th Ave and 6th Street, Barrington Road, Harrison and 9th Street. So we have many water rescues now ongoing once again in the city of Rockford at this point. So this is why we're talking about you really just do not want to drive in these flooded roadways. You will easily lose control of your car. Just similar to what we saw last night, we're seeing it again tonight, unfortunately. And there are people that are getting swept out into the waters. So looking at Judy saying East State and 6th was flooded, Auburn is flooded. These are all just the classic areas in Rockford that see this kind of flooding are seeing them again tonight. And even some spots that don't often flood are seeing tremendous amounts of flooding. So we just really, really need to take this very seriously with the flooding threat. Again, I've said it before and I'll say it again. If you do not need to be out driving, especially in the city of Rockford, please do not do so. Mindy asking, is all this rain remnants from the hurricane? No, the hurricane is pretty much well off to the north and east from a couple, or at least last week or a couple weeks ago. No, this is just kind of a ring of fire pattern that's just kind of developed across the plains, and we're right along the edge of it. And this is just a favorable storm track. So that's why we have these multiple rounds of thunderstorms coming in, and we just find ourselves right on the edge of that. Jonathan asking, is there an app or website to see additional streets flooded? Had a friend tell me about 251 yesterday, and it helped. Generally, the Maps app, sometimes if there are road closures that are put through officially, they'll be on your map right there, but also just notice to see where we have like the really slow areas, like look red or that dark red on the road there. That's going to be your areas that, okay, maybe I don't head in there because maybe that's where we're looking at potential flooding. So, just kind of your general Maps app, although maybe look for notifications from the police department or the sheriff's department for if they are closing any roadways. Of course, if we hear about those, we'll pass them along to you. I have not received any from my vantage point right here. So again, the big picture here on Exact Track radar. The severe line of thunderstorms is pushing east into the Chicago suburbs. The southern extent is slowing down just a little bit. So I'm starting to get a little bit concerned about the I-88 corridor and the US 30 corridor into Lee County and southern DeKalb County, including the cities of DeKalb and Dixon, could have a renewed flooding threat there. There are flash flood warnings in effect for those communities until 2:30. And then across the rest of Winnebago and Boone counties, there are some general lighter rain showers, some rumbles of thunder in there too, but any kind of severe threat is passed well off to the east. And thankfully, we're looking at lighter rainfall totals and, in fact, a break in the action farther to the west that's starting to work in. So let's just hope that we can actually just finally clear things out, and let's dry things out at least for an extended period of time. Stephanie asking, how are we looking for tomorrow? And I see the hand covering. I'm kind of doing that too. I see the hand covering emoji there. We've got one more round of these to deal with tomorrow. So kind of tomorrow, talking about another hot and humid day, looking at heat indices in the 100s in the afternoon. And well, when we see that level of heat and humidity, that's when we're talking about that atmospheric battery recharging. So, and in fact, we could be looking at potentially stronger storms tomorrow. Now we just have to see what the kind of environment is left over from this storm, from these thunderstorms, and then just how well the atmosphere can recover tomorrow. We are in a level 3 out of 5 risk, and I can pull that up here because I know I have it pulled up here because I know we have a newscast here in about 10 minutes. So, wow, we've been doing this here for about 3 hours or so. But here's the risk for tomorrow. towards the late afternoon, evening, or an early evening to start. That'd be about the earliest start time. Kind of similar timing to today, if anything, just a little bit earlier. But just about the entire area in a level 3 out of 5 risk. We're going to be looking for thunderstorms to develop across Iowa and then moving into our area. So, of course, I'll have more details on that here coming up in our newscast here at 10 o'clock. But for right now, let's bring back up the big picture in terms of the warnings. So DeKalb County is the only spot where we have severe thunderstorm warnings ongoing. And of course, our system is locking onto the tornado warning as it should. That's the highest priority kind of warning here that we have in the system. But this severe thunderstorm warning is in effect until 10 o'clock for Genoa, DeKalb, Sycamore, and then southward towards Huntley. As we saw there on Exact Track radar, we can pull that up here. Maybe, there we go. You can see how the push of at least the winds, and you can see that is a notable tornado signature there, moving into eastern Kane County, pretty much right on the Fox River right now between Elgin and Aurora. But you can see how the leading edge of the worst of the storm is pushed off into Kane County, pretty much stretching across US 30 across the southern part of the county. So places like Waterman, Hinckley, towards Shabana, really still seeing that heavy rain and tremendous amounts of lightning too. And there's more coming down the pipeline from Lee County. So that's kind of why I'm following kind of the US 30 corridor, because it's kind of just off to the south of I-88, but still, city of DeKalb points south towards Malta and areas to the south. Watch out for that flooding potential too. I think the worst of the winds have been pushing off to the east into Kane County, and I think that the severe thunderstorm warning would likely be allowed to expire for DeKalb County here in the next 10 minutes or so towards 10 o'clock. And then it's just flash flood warnings from there. So let's put the warnings back on, and it's going to show up with the tornado warning, and there's nothing I can do about it. I'm sorry. So Winnebago County, considerable damage threat for the flash flooding potential. This is a flash flood warning until 1 a.m. for the city of Rockford and then areas towards Pecatonic and Winnebago, New Milford and Cherry Valley. For southern Boone County, or essentially the southern 2/3 of the county, just think about pretty much everywhere south of 173. So places like Candlewick Lake and Belvedere, Garden Prairie too. You are also under a flash flood warning until 1 a.m. So we have not heard of any, at least I have not heard of any reports of true flooding in Belvedere. I've heard of plenty of power outages, but I would not be surprised if there is some urban flooding going on in the city of Belvedere. But otherwise, farther to the south, I'm thinking Lee County, southern DeKalb County could be another focus for some flash flooding here. This is a flash flood warning until 1:30 a.m. for all of Lee County, all of DeKalb County, and then eastern and southern Ogle County, so including places like Stillman Valley, Davis Junction, and Monroe Center, and then southward towards Lindenwood, Chena, Kings, Hillcrest, and Rochelle, and then pretty much areas south of a line from Oregon to Polo. That's where we could have some flash flooding as well, again, until about 1:30. That's when that flash flood warning expires. And then off to the west, Freeport and most of Stevenson County, essentially aside from Winslow, maybe just outside of Orangeville. Did you see that severe thunderstorm warning get canceled for DeKalb County? So we just have flash flood warnings across our area for right now. Just wanted to note that. Stevenson County, southwestern, or eastern, I should say, southeastern Joe Daviess County, including the city of Stockton, and then northern Carroll County, essentially areas north of US 52 under a flash flood warning, I should say, until 2:30. So it's a little while longer out there, simply because they just want to see how those western thunderstorms are panning out, which it looks like they have a new severe thunderstorm warning in the Davenport area as of right now. So let's just take a look at that. And the good news is it looks like that's going to be staying well off to the west and south of our area. And then we'll just watch for this activity, maybe seeing another bow starting to develop. That could push into Whiteside County here over the next, probably the next hour or two at the latest, I would say, just with how fast it looks to be moving. And generally when they start to form into lines, we start to see them push out a little faster and they start to move a little faster. That's kind of what we saw with this line of thunderstorms as it developed between Freeport and Rockford, and then it pushed off to the east very quickly. So yeah, pretty much the areas that are at the most active for right now, we have no severe thunderstorm warnings in our area, just flash flood warnings. Pretty much the most active areas near and south of I-88 in Lee and DeKalb counties. We could have a renewed flash flooding threat there, as we're seeing a lot of this activity kind of following each other, kind of like what we saw in Rockford yesterday. Talking about Rockford, still light to moderate rainfall, some rumbles of thunder, nothing severe at all. Thinking about severe, let's pull up the watches here. And Greene County so far is the only county that's been cleared from the severe thunderstorm watch as of right now. But I would expect that to continue moving off to the south and east. So especially, farther north and west, you'll get cleared out first. And then as we can just verify that we're not going to get any new activity, we'll start clearing out, the National Weather Service, I should say, will start clearing out the rest of northern Illinois here. So Stephanie asking, so we're in the clear, I can go to bed calmly. Yes, just watch out for flooding there in Boone County. Just be aware of that. And then, of course, here we'll have and also here coming up here in about 5 minutes here, we're going to have a full recap of at least the flooding potentials that we see for right now. And then also I'll detail the round of strong to severe thunderstorms that we could see heading into tomorrow here. So coming up here in about 5 minutes, we have 13 News at 10. So make sure to join us there. And of course, make sure to join us there on channel 13 for the latest updates on tonight's severe potential and tomorrow's potential. And of course, the recap of all the severe weather that we've seen over the past day or so. So make sure to join us here in about 5 minutes.